Hello and welcome back to another Punch Technology video where today we're going to do a quick guide on how to install your hard drive into a BeQuiet case. The case that we have here today is a Pure Base 600, but this applies to most other BeQuiet cases as well. As you can see, we've got one of the caddies, which if you've already got this far to installing your hard drive, you might have this removed from the PC. But we're going to go through removing this, installing it, setting up these rubber grommets on the caddy correctly, and getting the hard drive formatted for use in your PC. So if this video is a help to you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and let's get into it. To start off with, what we're going to want to do is locate the 4 screws on the back of the PC. These are the 2 top ones. We're going to just loosen these off. Now keep in mind on this case they don't come all the way out, they kind of just sit in the back of the case like that. But what we're going to do is just loosen these off one by one. And we're just at the bottom of the case here as well. We're just going to loosen these off from the bottom as well. So once those screws are out, now what we can do is just look for the little lips on the back of the case. Give them a little pull backwards and then the side panel should come straight off. So we're going to do that for this side as well. And that comes straight off just like that. We should now be able to get a view of the back of the case where we can see most of the cabling in the PC. What we want to do is just locate the bottom left area of the PC where we can find the caddies. Now, what we're going to do is just locate 3 of the screws that you should find connected to one of the caddies. That is going to be this one, and this one just down here. I'm just going to undo these 3 screws, and again they don't come all the way out, but they just loosen. And you may find that you can do this with your thumb as well. So they don't always need the screwdriver unless they're tight. All you then do is move the cables out of the way and you slide the caddy out just like this. We need to make sure that our caddy is ready for fitting the drive to it. So as you can see on this particular caddy here, we have these rubber inserts into the side of the caddy. Now we're actually missing one just here. What you should find is that there's either some in the accessories box or you might have to take it off a different caddy to be able to fit the drive. In this case, I have a spare grommet here. So what I'm going to do is just line up the notches with the inside of this caddy. It can take a little bit of playing around before you get it in the first time. But there we go, that's in just like that. You'll need the correct screws to install the hard drive as well. And as you can see, they look just like this. They have quite a long stem, and half of the stem is going to have the thread and the other half is going to be sort of flat. And you can see they are kind of round and have a big area at the top there. So I'm going to take the caddy, and you'll notice that there's 2 screws on each side. This is so that when we install our hard drive, you'll notice the screw holes are further to either the bottom or the top. That means that we can install it either this way or this way around in the caddy. As you can see, it will line up with the holes either way. In this case, I'm going to make sure that the single screw is at the top because this is the way it's going to go back into the case. I'm just going to insert the caddy this way around into the case until the screw holes line up just there, as you can see. And I'm going to take my first screw and just get that installed there just loosely with my finger first. And then I'm going to take the screwdriver and just tighten that up properly. I'm just going to do the same thing for each side, and then this will be ready to go. So I've got all the screws installed, and the good thing about these caddies is what these rubber grommets allow the hard drive to do is it has some dampening. So as you can see, the hard drive actually slightly moves in there. It just allows for some shake, especially in delivery. Just makes sure that the hard drive isn't damaged. Moving back over to the case, we're going to find an available slot. We're going to make sure the cable's moved out of the way, and we're going to insert the hard drive into the case. Going to keep some pressure on the bottom and start with the bottom screws. And then finish off with the top screw. So you're going to need a couple of cables to get the hard drive working. In this instance, you're going to need a SATA power cable, which looks like this right here. So it's quite a long power cable, and it has a little L shape, as you can see just there. And you'll notice it has 5 wires going to it. You also need a SATA data cable, which looks like this. Same sort of shape, just a bit shorter. Also has a little L, and you'll notice it has a metal clip just here. You'll probably find that these cables are going to be pre-installed in the PC already, as they will come with the power supply. If you have a modular power supply, you might need to install an extra cable, but for any non-modular power supplies, these should all already be available on your PC. So I've just spotted that there's some extra SATA cables that were just tucked behind the cabling there. And as you can see, these can easily reach down here to the hard drive. I've got plenty of room to get them down there. I'm just going to grab one of these power cables that I know is going to reach, and I'm going to make sure that little L is at the same side as the L that you can see there on the back of the hard drive. I'm just going to line those two up and get them installed. I'm going to leave this one here as if I ever need to install another hard drive in this location, I know that that's going to reach there. The next thing we need to do is get a SATA data cable installed for this port here. So let's go ahead and do that. So you'll see here I have my SATA data cable. It doesn't matter which way around you install these. I'm just going to take one end. So this end here, for instance, if the camera will please focus. There we go. So I'm going to take this end and install this into the hard drive. And then I'm going to route the other end of the cable through to the motherboard. Both ends are identical as well, so it doesn't matter which way it goes, and camera keeps losing focus. I'm going to start by getting the hard drive end fitted, and again, the little L will line up with the L on the back of the hard drive, just like this. And there we go. And then I'm going to take the other side, and I'm just going to route it through just any gap for now, for the purpose of demonstration. So I'm just going to route it through this gap here, and then we're going to head to the other side of the PC, and we're going to plug it into the motherboard. So looking at the inside of this PC, we can see we have a graphics card just here. There is the hard drive that we've just installed. You've got your CPU just up here, and this is just going to be the whole motherboard and the RAM just there. The SATA ports are just between this gap in here. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to take a closer look at how to get this installed. So we can quite clearly see the SATA connectors there. I'm just going to grab my cable, which I'd pulled through the case just a minute ago. And usually the metal clip side of the connector is going to face us. So I'm just going to get in there with my hand, and it's sometimes a little bit of a tight squeeze, but once we get the angle right, we can get it installed just like that into the case. Now that we have the hard drive installed in the case, it is time to get the hard drive formatted and ready for use. Before we go and do that, if this video is helpful so far, then make sure to please subscribe to the channel. I do also want to make a note that our video from last year has done extremely well for installing TPM. Just on this video alone, it's pretty much gained all our subscribers so far. So it's absolutely crazy how well everything's done to this point. But without any further ado, let's go and finish off this drive installation by formatting the drive. To format our drive for its use, all we're going to do is right click on the Windows icon, go to Disk Management, And you should find that your new drive appears as unallocated just there. What we're going to do is right click on that and select New Simple Volume, go to Next, press Next again, press Next again, Next, and finish. And that's all it takes. That has now formatted our drive. And there you go, it will just open the folder as well, just to show that we can now use it. That is going to be it for today's video. If this has helped you, once again, make sure to smash that subscribe button, as it helps us out a lot and it means that we get to continue doing these videos. And without any further ado, I'll see you next time.